What is going on, guys? We are here with another Overprime video. How is everyone doing today? We are finally back with my wife, Adele, the Harley Quinn herself. How is everyone doing? I'm so excited to actually test Adele again. I'm finally so close to the release date for her. I've been waiting for this character for so long, and we got some stuff to talk about involving her. So I want to jump right into it, but before we start, do drop a subscribe and a like. I appreciate your guys' support as always. I'm very excited to bring you this Overprime content. I love this test server. It gives me an option to jump in early as well as you guys. So before as well, if we have a chance, I want to do custom games with all you guys, so definitely sign up for the trial build, which is still active. I will leave a link on the video below. Definitely click it, sign up. You still have about 2 days as of the recording of this video to go and sign up. So jump on in and play some custom games with me with Adele. But anyways, let's get right into it. So Adele, this is her skin, obviously, so there you go. I wanted to show this off first and foremost, and if you want to see another skin real quick, we can take a look at the Faye. She does get a skin. I didn't see anyone else with a skin, so forgive me if I'm missing it, but this is the only two that I see. I do like the skin quite a bit. I'm very glad that she got a different skin because this skin was awful. This is a cute one. I actually might buy this one, to be honest, but I'm not really a Faye player, but you know, for $10 that I pretty much get for free. Super nice. So those are the two skins. Let's get right into the training mode to talk about the changes first and foremost. So starting off, Adele. She got buffed. So if you don't know, go look at my last video. Adele had some problems with her kit. Before, she used to be a very odd character in terms of how she was kind of like designed. It didn't really flow that well with her right click, which is the main identity of her kit, basically summoning this like giant shield. Well, her kit has changed. Actually, she's been buffed substantially, quite a bit. So super nice. So if you guys were underwhelmed by Adele's impressions when you saw her, she has been buffed to an extent, or reworked a little bit, which honestly is a good thing because it didn't feel like she was that effective with what she was supposed to do. But now she has the ability to just keep running at people, which is super nice. Played perfectly with Aurora, her own H-on. All right, so her kit has changed substantially. So first and foremost, her whip has changed substantially. So now it extends just like normal. It hits the target and deals 3% of their target's health. Now, I don't think this was a thing before. I think it just dealt a flat amount of damage, but now you deal scaling health damage. So that's the first important change. If I remember correctly, I don't think that was there. You also root the character, which again, she didn't have. So also amazing change. She gets a root and she also gets a scaling health change. Now, that's also accompanied by a 2% increase of scaling health. So you get a 5% in total, 3%, 2% separately of their max health in general. It's all magical damage, of course. So I guess if you have magical damage, it's not true damage. So if you get magical damage, but it scales. Magical defense is going to be great against her, obviously. Which is another big change, actually. I should go over that. She was a physical damage dealer. I don't know if that was a glitch or an error, but she is now magical. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sad about that. I wish she wasn't magical personally. It does make for a better tank damage build to be a magical damage dealer, usually, kind of, depending on the situation. But unfortunately, she's not a physical damage dealer anymore, so no core, no, I mean, I guess you could do an auto attack build, but her abilities do not scale with auto attacks. So unfortunately, I mean, you could just be a true damage monster, which technically, I mean, you have 2 true damage abilities, but again, not really going to be a physical damage dealer. So that's her whip sword. It gets a root. It gets scaling health now, damage, so 5% in total, 2% separately. It does scale up. We'll upgrade that. So 5% with the first hit, 2% for the last hit. The last hit doesn't change. And if you hit a minion, you don't charge to them. I feel like before you did. So maybe they changed that. I'm not really too sure. I really didn't have a problem aiming it. So that has changed. If you want to see the ability, actually, the animation for it is absolutely gorgeous. I love this animation for this ability. So we'll show you the ability in general. I don't remember her swinging it like this. I love her, dude. I love her. She's so expressive. Oh, I didn't know you can miss. That's new. You can actually miss. I didn't know you could free aim this. Whoa, that's awesome. So apparently you could free aim this ability now. I promise you it was a lock on. All right, so it's gonna take some skill to actually play Adele now. Maybe you could always free aim it, but I do love this toggle. So amazing. Yeah, you hit someone, you dash, do that. So quite a bit of damage. This dummy has a lot of HP. So It's not, you're not going to be doing 500. It's 10,000 HP. You're not going to be doing that much damage to them. It doesn't seem like the second hit is there. Like 2% of the target's max health. 2% versus 5% isn't, it's not 51 to 500. That's weird. Anyways, so that is her new ability. Like I said, it roots, super nice, super useful, and now you can actually chase people down pretty well. Her next change was her main damage ability, which I just upgraded. It starts at 4%, as you saw. Swings a sword to deal 45 damage. I'll show you what it looks like. Ability, so you deal 2 instances of damage and into the true damage. That's all the same. I think they might have buffed the true damage. I don't think it was that high, but maybe. I swear it was like 600 on the test dummy, so it would have been 6%, but it's higher. The third sword attack hits the enemy hero, so that third hit, 1, 2, 3, that third hit with true damage, you recover 6% of your mana and health. So obviously it starts at 4. You basically get the ability cost back, like as long as you're hitting it. So in lane, when you start with this ability, and this is going to be one you're probably going to max. There is an alternative, but you're probably going to max this depending on the situation. Maybe if you're not losing, maybe you won't. But if you're losing, or if you're not losing 100%, you're maxing this. It's 6% of the max health and mana, so you do heal, which is super nice, just like that. Now, you could probably build the ring to increase your healing. It doesn't recommend that in her build path, but she now has a heal, a built-in heal, as well as a mana heal to sustain. I feel like I didn't really have that many mana issues unless I was spamming abilities recklessly. But this is no, that's not true. I guess your right click does consume a lot of mana now. So before it was a toggle, but it's not anymore. So then going into her right click, so she grants a shield that absorbs 314 damage. When you upgrade it, it goes to 1114. So at max level, this will probably be the ability you max either second or third. I'm not really sure. Depends on how bad you want the dash and the root, but yes, it's 1100 shield instead of a reflection shield, which before, if it was a toggle that reflected damage, it increased your defense by 30% each, which wasn't as effective as I thought it was going to be, and you were able to reflect 10% of the damage. So her perfect pairing was with that one item that reflects damage. Now it is a toggle to avoid big damage abilities, at least 1,000 damage of it, which is super nice. So as a tank, I mean, you're just negating 1,000 damage, obviously ignoring chainsaw. I'm assuming chainsaw, I mean, it's a shield, so I don't think chainsaw actually goes directly through the shield. Just like Miro's shield doesn't seem to work like that. It gradually depletes over 3 seconds, so it doesn't stay forever. You pop it, it starts depleting over the course of 3 seconds, so it gets smaller and smaller. So you really want to use it when you're in the thick of things. When you're chasing somebody, when they're fighting you, don't just pop this randomly. You also get slowed by 20%. Now, the thing that changed about this ability is just that it's an active, it's not a toggle anymore. It's on a very long cooldown with no CDR. 20 seconds is a very, very long cooldown. It actually ramps up the higher level you get, which is weird. But yeah. It's 20 seconds, and you get a massive, massive defensive boost. So if you press the skill again, it will toggle off, and you start the cooldown. Nothing happens. You don't get like a burst of anything. I think there should be a burst of something, maybe damage or something, when you unactivate it or when it gets destroyed. Now, also going on to that, when you use it, you can also use a skill out of it now, or you cannot. So if you want to use skills, you don't have to wait. You don't have to untoggle it. It felt really clunky because you had to toggle it off and then press an ability. It is now super smooth. If you want to cancel the ability when the target's running away, you press the ability, they start running. At this point though, you don't have any reflection, so they're probably going to still hit you, but you do get slowed. So if you get slowed, you know, you dash in, use the right click, start hitting them, start running away, try to catch them, and then you use your root again, and your cooldown will be back eventually. Marauder's Watch might be good on her too, just to keep her abilities up, but again, she's a magical damage dealer, so if you want to actually do damage, but for utility's sake, I could see Marauder's Watch being very, very useful, which we'll talk about that later on. And now her ultimate summons a thorn brush into the castle's location, dealing true damage equal to 4% of the target's max health, plus 13% of the target's bonus health. I don't think this was a thing before, to enemies within range for every 7 seconds. Decreases physical defense at 20% and magical defense by 20%. I don't know if that was actually a thing. I think it was, but it also slows now. I don't think it slowed at all before. It does slow now. So I guess there's really no reason to build Decima Cannon. Pretty much the only reason. You now have a root and a slow with your ultimate. There really isn't a reason to build this, and it's a massive slow. When we upgrade it, it is now 60%, 6% true damage, 50% bonus health. So the more health you build, the worse off you are. Goodbye, Sev. I don't know if it counts as his passive, being bonus health. Probably does. So she's probably the Sev killer. I know you guys are hearing Sev right now, but there you go. And it's just substantially better. I'll show you that ultimate real quick. You're gonna love the skin effects. I gotta show you that too. Yeah, this is a massive slow now, an absolutely massive slow. 60% is nothing to scoff at by any means. That is going to, like, it's a team-wide ult too, and it does true damage. Now, it is on a very long cooldown. I'm pretty sure before it was not on 120 seconds. It is pretty long for a cooldown. I think at max CDR at 72 seconds, which will build up. But yep, her kit has changed completely. Super nice, super wonderful. I'm definitely a fan of the new Adele. I like that this is more of a toggle where you can just press it when you're in the thick of things, and then you can keep fighting. And you can cancel out of it with skills. And then I love that, I mean, her whip, free aim whip, super nice. I like that it's free aim, it's pretty cool. I wish you could, like, dash to walls. That'd be pretty cool. But it's a root now, so you have to aim it. There's skill involved, and it's a root. Super nice. She has a lot of chase down now. She's a really, really good team player. She seems to just be a really good frontliner just to run in there. Every time her shield's up, you pop it if you're taking damage, and you negate quite a considerable amount of damage. She's going to be very good to get in the thick of things. I wonder how they're going to do Terra. Terra blocks abilities, I know, but I like by pressing the skill, but very similar kit to her in terms of her her shield identity. So I'm curious on what they're going to do with her. So this is Adele. Let's show you when you're full build. I don't have a build recommendation yet. I'm going to be testing her hopefully today. If not today, we'll test her over the course of the next week, because we do, again, you guys can sign up for that trial, and we will have more people in the trial to test with. But unfortunately right now, there's not a lot of people. It's also 5 a.m. in the morning, by the way. So all right, so with Adele, I think most of the items that you built before are still probably pretty good. I don't know why it recommends fish for you. I get shields, but kind of weird. All right, so this is probably one of the builds I'm looking at. You get 40% CDR. You definitely want as much CDR as possible for that ultimate, as well as that shield. Very, very important that the shield goes up. Yeah, I would try to use your abilities before you pop your shield, and then just pop it when you're done. But also, or just pop it when there's a key build going on. It seems the upkeep on it is pretty nice. And again, it decays, so you don't have to, like, worry about keeping it up all the time like the other one. It basically makes the playstyle a little bit more fluid, and it makes it better, because before you were just standing there and you get a massive slow, but now you press it when you need to press it, because there is a cooldown, and it does block more direct damage, which is really nice. There is no reflection, which I feel like it should still reflect, but unfortunate. Oh, also her ultimate, when you leave the ultimate, your the slow, like, basically goes down from 60%. So once you get out of the ultimate, you're still slowed for an extra 2 seconds, just like Mini Moda, but it decays. So there you go. That is Adele. She has changed substantially. I love her. I'm going to main her until Yin comes out, pretty much. So she will be my main. I definitely like her more than I did before. I do like this change. I'm very glad they did change her, because I feel like they were just going to ship her where she was, and she didn't feel like super fluid, but now feels really good to play. And she feels more like you want to build her tanky, like solely, but there is the option of damage, I feel like, now, because of the way the scaling is. Before, it was just, it seemed like true damage, and there wasn't a lot of scaling with her abilities. Now it also goes off of enemies' max health, so you're basically like a health shredder. And then your ultimate just shreds defenses. So if you really want to fight someone who's just super tanky, you pop your ultimate. She's going to be an absolute wildfire in this game. I mean, she does a lot of things for her team, which is super nice. She's just, in terms of front lining, just a really, really good tank addition. Very much a fan. I don't have any more character changes for you. I don't know anyone else who got changed. I haven't looked at anyone else really. Maybe Greystone got nerfs, who knows. We'll check this out over the course of the next week, like I said, for us all to figure out together. But we will go into item changes. So, items. There isn't a lot that I saw. I'm not sure which one's changed, but we have the first item I want to talk about, which is Fruit of Greed. So this item changed completely. I don't know if it's actually going to see any use, but you get 15 pen for each enemy hero nearby, and you get 15 flat pen. So you get 30 pen from this item for just picking it up. 30 pen. I don't know if this would be a good first item, but you'd get 30 pen for just picking up the item. Maybe a good second item for mid. I could see you going mid as Shinbi and building this second and just running at people. I mean, you'd have ideally 60 power from the first pen item that you get, and the second pen item, if you got this, would be 40 defense, 350 HP, 10% CDR, which has CDR, by the way, and 30 pen for just having someone next to you. And if someone else comes near you, And also 10 defense. So you get 50 defense for fighting someone. You're at 50 defense, and you get 30 pen. I don't know if this can see any play against tanks. Maybe flat pen usually isn't good against tanks, but if you get swarmed, you're gonna have, like, imagine if 5 people are just around you. I mean, you are just absolutely a monster. You're getting like 60 pen from this item, so you're at 75 pen. This is absurd. And not just that, you're getting literally 60 extra defense, or 50 extra defense. So you're getting 90 defense, and it's just a bloated item for tanks. I feel like when you actually build it as a magical defense tank, I feel like this is probably going to be one of the items you build. So not just on Shimby, but on other people as well. I don't think Countess wants this. I think she needs as much power as she can get, but I think Shimby could afford this. I'm really excited to try her out. Or if you want to play like I don't know, like a support damage dealer like Bellica or some weird thing, or Faye, I could see this being used. I'm very interested to try this out. It seems fun, so can't wait for this to get to live. Definitely gonna try it on Shimby. The next item that I want to talk about, it got nerfed. Marauder's Watch, thank God. A lot of people who didn't abuse it, it got buffed, but it also got nerfed. So before it was skill attack and basic attack, they changed it. They reverted it back to just a basic attack. So no longer your skills take this down. I think this was a big point of, like, Greystone was abusing this, but it's now 0.5 seconds. Honestly, I feel like you could probably still abuse it to an extent, at least decently, but not as much as you couldn't before, for sure. Definitely not Greystone. Greystone was just pretty much the prime example. Crunch probably doesn't want this anymore. Again, you don't really auto as Crunch, so it's like, I feel like you're just, I know people are going to be like, but you need it, like, you needed it before, but now you have cooldowns as Crunch. So it is unfortunate that Crunch got, I would say to put a cooldown on it for the skills, but Crunch did get nerfed a little bit with that. I feel like he was really good. So, yeah, the item does give a 0.5 second cooldown, which is amazing. 0.5 seconds. So you were autoing. So yeah, it's 0.5 seconds. It's pretty good. Just in general, just having it. I don't know who's gonna want it that much. I mean, Sparrow probably could use it pretty well. I mean, she will just absolutely shred. I think it was better before though, so I feel like if you weren't using it before, you're probably not gonna use it now. But maybe someone like Chimera or someone with a really like high attack speed could use it really well. Sereth, stuff like that. Anyone who's just absolutely blasting Rangers maybe will get the most value out of this item. I just don't see use for it anymore. Again, if you weren't using it before, probably aren't using it now. So the other item that changed is going to be Maldoris Spray. So 35 power, 20 pen, 200 health, and 10% CDR. So now, before we even talk about the passive, I want to show you. This might be the craziest one, might be the craziest change. So you now have 15 pen, 35 pen, 55 pen, and 70 pen. So you get 70 pen for building 4 items. 70 pen. This is 70 pen. This no longer has defense. It's now a damage item. This item used to be a defense item. They're just getting rid of it, I guess. It probably didn't see any use, so that's probably why they changed it. This is now better for assassins. This is a massive build path for assassins. I mean, you must be chunking. You're at 70 flat pen with this item. Absolutely absurd. But this item, the passive is now increases the hero's physical power by 12. It's at 35 base power, and physical defense by 10% for every nearby enemy hero. So this seems to be more of like for a tank, kind of like jungler, but you get a lot of power for each. Again, 12 times 5, 60. So you're getting 60 power in a situation where you're surrounded, but you're probably not going to ever get there. But you also get nullification by 10%. So this is just a tank shredding item as well. I don't know if you could first item this on solo as an assassin, but I could see this being a good first item. Depending, it is pretty cheap. It doesn't seem to be as good as Book, but you do, when you're fighting someone, you are getting 47 power versus 50, and you are getting more pen. So this might be a better first item, especially if you're taking a 2v1, and you're getting 10% nullification. So if they do have defense, this might be the first item over this. If you want to stomach going for 2600, probably still better to go with Secret Assassination Technique, but as a second item, I can easily see going into this, if you don't want to rush, go for the claw, because this item is pretty bloated in stats. I mean, literally just being next to someone gives you more damage than Cloud Storm. So, a really good item, very good change, probably too much, in my opinion. I want to test this out. 70 pen is a lot for going these 4 items, but it's insane. You get 20% CDR as well because it has cooldown. So you know, once you get Clawed and Molder Spear online, you eventually get to 70 pen. That's a lot of pen. That is a lot of pen. You also get nullification from this item, so assassins might be actually tank busters. Now this might make them compete in the jungle because right now full damage assassins are useless. I'm very interested to see how this item affects the meta of just tank jungles because right now they're ruling the jungle. I'm excited to try it out potentially with pretty much everyone but Sarah. So yeah, very excited to see this item. See play. I like it. I think it's too much pen personally, but really OP. You're gonna be one-shotting carries though if you do go Zena or Sareth. Maybe even Kalari now. 70 pen is just an absolute one-shot. That is disgusting. 70 pen is invaluable. And the fact that you can get so much of it so early is insane. So yep, there you go. Those are all the item changes that I saw. I didn't see anything else substantial, unfortunately. So if I do see anything else, I will hopefully make like an update video at the end of the test server, or I'll make it when live comes. But we'll get the patch notes. So there you go. Now going on to the relics or the items now. So the way the game changed the starter system, basically there's no more starters, no more destroyer stone, no more slots being taken up by an item slot. Basically they now introduced spells, I guess they're called in League. So now you have the option of playing jungle. It works exactly the same as destroyer stone, except I guess you don't get any stats off of the item, so whatever, but you can build an item in its place. So that's an insane buff, by the way, an absolutely insane buff, just not having to take up a slot, even for starters in general. So destruction is the first item. Landing a basic attack, it's just the destroyers. I don't have to read this. It's literally the same. I don't think anything's changed with it. But the more people who build this item, or the more people who have it as a spell, kind of just ruin the person jungling. So if you buy this, if you don't change this item off, I feel like we're going to see a lot of this. If you don't change this item off, you know, automatically cuck your jungler, which is a problem. But I guess it's a problem in everything. I think they need to change the way this item works. It just needs to go based on how many last hits you got with this item in the jungle. Not even last hits, just how many hits you got in the jungle. So if once you get to 60, it gets to like to max or whatever, and it also scales off of level. Maybe it's a bolt. You scales off of level, and it scales off of how many hits you got in the jungle. Just to kind of help it out, just to actively, you know, maybe it is last hits in the jungle. Who knows? I don't know, but they need to change the way it works. But it's just a destroyer stone, but it's now a spell, and you get 2 of them, so you get two slots. The next one is recovery. Immediately recovers caster and nearby ally heroes' health by 70 through 325, and increases health regen by 10 for 3 seconds. So this is basically a support one. And obviously supports are gonna, supports actually have their own spell, which is the starter, if you guys are worried about that. So don't worry, supports do not get cucked that much, but this is a support relic. Obviously you could probably use it in solo, but generally you're gonna use it as support. Super nice. Just another way to support your team on top of the item system, which I think is already, supports have the best itemization in my opinion in the game. It's the most interesting, at least. There's so many actives. The next one is beads or purge. Removes all debuffs from the enemy hero except the airborne effect. So if you want to, I guess, avoid Aurora ult, I'm assuming, you could just grab a spell now. So there's more Aurora counters. Super nice. It is 240 seconds. So super long, but it gives you unblockable as well, which I think blocks basic attacks. I don't actually know. I'm pretty sure unblockable blocks basic attacks. Just 5 whole seconds of this though. I feel like Greystone's gonna just constantly have this just so we can block multiple autos, but it's 5 seconds long. That's a long time. But again, I guess it's on a 240-second cooldown, but that is a very long time. And you're also using it to get out of CC. You're not using it for anything else, but it's really good. I mean, again, like I said, if it can get Aurora ult off you, I don't actually know if this item does get it off of you, but if it does, really good counter to her. Everyone's gonna have to run it if they see an Aurora. I'm definitely gonna run this if I see an Aurora. But as a jungler, you're also gonna want Blink, so which they get now, by the way. Huge buff, by the way, to junglers. They get Blink. That's massive. So the next item is Pain. Deals 12 through 80 true damage to a selected enemy hero for 5 seconds. So basically the smite effect of Destructor Stone. Decreasing the enemy affected healing by 70%. So it's just anti-heal. So if you don't want to build it, I guess you could just use it. It's only 5 seconds long. Not reliable. I don't think this is ever going to see play, ever. But it's a lot of anti-heal. The next one is just Blink. But it's on a 270-second cooldown. I skipped that. I don't know why. But it is Blink. So it's on a 270-second cooldown. And then Scout Ahead obtains 4 gold every 10 seconds, increases the amount of gold obtained to 7 gold. It's just the normal support relic, basically. And grants 5 bonus gold for each enemy retreating camp that has within range. You get the Watcher's Eye. It has 3 stacks, so you still have 3 stacks of Watcher's Eye. I guess at the start, it's not even level scaling, so you just get 3 wards. And then 1 is generated every 120 seconds. So it's not when you back. You get 3, or it start. Okay, so maybe you start with 1, and then it grants up to 3 every 120. So every 2 minutes you get a ward. I don't know if people like this. I feel like they just need to add Bible words back, especially now. But you get your free ward, you get 3 stacks. Eventually, after 2 minutes, you get 3 stacks. So supports are still kind of like the warding kings, basically. But there you go. You still have your every support's gonna have to build. So every support's gonna have to build this, and every jungler's gonna have to build the destruction stone. Everyone else has free reign. So if you want to mix and match, if you want to blink, which I think everyone's should have, if you want the heal, if you really want that for some reason, I think everyone's gonna go blink beads. That's probably the smartest option in my opinion. But junglers are gonna have to go blink destruction stone, supports blink or heal, and then also Watcher's Eye. So there you go. That's the spell system. I hope we get more, but that's super interesting. I'm very, very glad we got this. Thank the Lord. I've been waiting for this for so long. I'm so happy this is in the game now. This is actually shaping up to be a proper MOBA. So guys, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it was kind of a long one, just going over all the changes in the test server. Again, there might be more changes. I just haven't discovered them, but that is everything that I know from what I experienced. So I hope you guys jump into it as well this weekend. I believe on Friday you guys get access to the 23rd or 22nd, around there. So definitely sign up. Like I said, you have 2 days to do it. Come play some games with me in custom games. I'm very excited to jump in and test Adele with you guys. And I will probably, hopefully, put out a tier list shortly after the game. I mean, maybe I'll have to wait a little bit because the items did change a little bit. But I'll put out my thoughts on Adele, basically, and what she's like eventually, after we get this week of playtime. So yes, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.